Hello friends, today we are going to discuss maintenance management, block 2, maintenance resource management, unit 7, human resource development in management. I, Manoj Kumar Rout, Assistant Professor Operation Management, is going to present the human resource development in maintenance management. Moving to next ones. So these are the objective of today's sessions. So get introduction to the modern concept of human resource management and its linkage with the maintenance management. The next, understand the expectation of organizations from the employees and vice versa. The next we have appreciate the maintenance as a service functions and human aspect of the maintenance. Last one, importance of trainings, development or developing trainings, creativities in maintenance technology. So these are the basic objective of today's sessions. Moving to next one, introductions. So as far as concerned with that is known as human resource management or development in case of maintenance, if you recall the scenario of industries, so in the olden times, a worker was treated more like a mindless machine than as a human beings, especially reference to those who are directly assigned with various amount of manufacturing industries. So they are not treated as human beings. The next important part is the company do not provide any kind of trainings to upgrade their skills. So they should go for their learning himself to prove themselves in the form of that is known as survival for the fittest. So if he goes to point number two, other than the basic technical skill was not given any trainings, was left to him to prove himself. So most of the cases, if you recall the scenario of industry 1.0, industry 2.0 or industry 3.0, most of the cases the worker prove himself in case of that is known as providing the respect of maintenance. And the next important part is those who upgrade their skills by learning uh, himself. In that cases, it was survival of the fittest as seen by the supervisors or superiors. So in that cases, the supervisor will recognize the employees in a such a way that they will go for higher side of dedication for the maintenance related works. Moving to next one, managing such workforce is quite stressful for the manager. So even in the old days, it is very much difficult and stressful for the middle level of managers or middle level of management to manage these kind of workforce, especially reference to providing that is known as quality of maintenance management inside the organizations. So due to the higher side of advanced management or advanced technologies, or in case of advantage or getting higher side of advantage getting in case of competitive priorities, especially reference to global competitions, they have directly forced the managements to look into the way and means of increasing the productivity as well as the reduce the cost. So due to these two parameters in case of productivity as well as the cost reductions, most of the cases previously they will focus upon marketing department, then finance department, then production department. Nowadays most of the industry are focused upon human resource management or human resource development in the core area of maintenance. So if it goes for the tremendous difference made to the organizations, especially reference to increase the morale of workforce, relatively stress-free gain in case of productivities by the companies that invested in the development of the employees, has convinced most management that human resource development, or in short this is HRD, is the fundamental and the probability of most important responsibility of organizations. So without that human resource development in the core area of maintenance, you cannot achieve the organization objectives. So that is why this particular topics, human resource development in maintenance, is most important aspect for the companies who are basically increase the productivities, and the next important part is reduce the cost in every aspect. Moving to next one, the next one is there are two type of that is known as if you go for the matching expectations from the organization point of view. The first important part is expectation of organizations and expectation of employees. So if you combinely these things, this should form the matching of expectations, especially reference to human resource developments. So to better understanding of human resource developments, that must ask what the management of an organization want from the workforce. Then what do the individuals that make up the workforce want from the job? So obviously, if you go for organization point of view, they always go for high profit maximization through initiation or initializations of the qualities, the next is productivities, or that means is assigning of good workers or dedicated worker to increase the productivities and reduce the cost. So this is the expectation from the organization. But in case of expectation from the employees levels, so they must want the individual, they must ask the individuals what the workforce basically earn from the jobs. The first important part is job satisfaction. The next important part is the working environments. The next important part is that is recognition from the top level of management as well as middle level of management. And they will basically focus upon the monetized benefit from the organization. So these are the core area of your that is known as expectation of employees. So as I told that expectation of organizations and expectation of employees, it directly form the matching of expectation for a specific organizations. So once these matters are clear, especially reference to expectation of organizations as well as expectation of employees, the manner and method of human resource development for a given organization will become clear. So at this stage, it is the important to recognize the human resource development is a functions, not a department. And these topics simply deal with two major important aspect. The first one is expectation of organizations, and the second one is that is expectation of employees. So let's discuss about the expectation of organization as well as the expectation of employees. So in case of organization point of view, they will focus upon that is on the skill of job. The next one is commitment. The third one is versatilities. The fourth one is team spirits, and the last one is disciplines. So we'll discuss one by one. So in case of skill of job, for examples, a machine operator should handle the machine skillfully, safely, without damage, and should produce error-free product. So in this case, the skill of job lead towards achieving quality of product by machine by providing higher site of safeties and without damage and without errors. Moving to next important point that is known as commitment. So employee should show some responsibility to the task, not find the excuse to shrink from the works. So it is difficult to find higher side of competitive that is known as commitment employees for specific organizations. So that is why those who are committed towards their job, towards their organizations, they take the responsibility of tasks, not take the excuse from the tasks. The next is versatility. So in case of complexities of modern machines and workplace demand higher degree of specialization on parts of the workforce than ever before. So if you go for higher set of facilities, in that cases, especially refers to the modern manufacturing methods, the modern flexible manufacturing methods, or in case of work demand, especially reference to high degree of specializations. In that cases, on the part of the workforce are basically mobilized from one places to other places. So let's take an example of your facilities in case of tower construction works. So those who are the workers are basically assigned to tower construction works. So they can go for that is known as assemble works, they go for manufacturing works, they go for that is known as welding works, and they can go for that is known as final assemble work. And after completion of one that is known as telecommunication tower, they simply mobilize from one places to other places. So in these cases, the higher demand is basically focused upon the degree of that is known as multi-skill facilities, especially reference to this sector. Similarly, nowadays, especially reference to Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0, more amount of that is known as multi-skill workers who have higher degree of that is known as different specializations work, they are basically chosen for these kind of industries. The next one is team spirit. So under team spirit, a competitive and mutual supportive attitude, willingness to go with others or take others with oneself, tolerance for the different viewpoints, having a sense of ownership about the teams are the best indicator of team spirits. So as I told in case of that is known as tower constructions, bridge construction or civil construction work, Even in case of manufacturing industries are largely focused upon this particular concept, especially reference to team spirit, so that they can provide higher amount of dedications, commitments, and respect their works to lead the company to different levels. The next important point, last point we have, that is known as disciplines. So, in case of discipline, an organization has to have the procedures and the rules of conduct in order to ensure the predictabilities to avoid chores, and the organization has the right to expect discipline behavior from the employees. So, during the initial period of a company, those who are joined for the first time in the organizations, they must understand the concept of that is known as respect seniors as well as respect juniors. So these behavioral aspects lead the company to different level. For example, we have three different level of that is known as employees are there. So each employee, for example, top employees always respect whatever suggestion is given by the functional level as well as the middle level of management. Similarly, the middle level is management is provide the respect towards the top level of management, and they will expect whatever behavioral things should be observed in case of functional management. Similarly, the functional management or the bottom level of management, which always provide the best behavioral aspect towards the middle level of management and the top level of management. So these disciplines lead the company towards getting a higher amount of business efficiencies, efficient, higher side of precision in case of product. And the next one is respect to each others is bring the known as symphony inside the organizations for a that is known as positive sign for that kind of organizations. Moving to next one. The next one is expectation of employees. So the first and most important expectation that is known as monetary compensation, or you can simply pronounce it adequate monetary compensation should be needed for the employees. Then is the company who provide better job satisfactions to balance their work life as well as the family life. So that is why many companies who are basically provide large amount of that in the job satisfaction, and employees also take the pride of this particular companies. So let's take the example of Tata or House of Tatas. So Tata Trust is there, and Tata provide higher side of job satisfaction as compared to other industries. The next one is social interaction at the workplace. So it's bring cross-cultural activities for the employees to know each other, to share the different skill with each other, and to understand the responsibility of maintenance-related work in regard to the production activities. So the next one is fairness and justice in dealing by their superiors, in particular by the organization at large. So whenever they go for that is fairness and justice, which is very much clear to the bottom level of management, as well as in case of middle level of management, whatever decision taken by the top level of management. The next is those are the company who provide large amount of opportunity for growth. So that is why the human resource development is providing large amount of trainings. If possible, they will directly depute the employees to different organizations to pursue higher studies, to learn different amount of add-on skills. And the next important part is those are the company who provide better work cultures. So under work cultures or stress-free cultures, in that cases, noise, vibrations, dust, environmental impact, as well as different culture adoption should be there. For example, most of the manufacturing company are basically adopt the philosophy of Japanese quality management. So under the Japanese management philosophies, they will simply implement the work culture like just in times, or maybe the FIFO, fast in, fast out. They are basically implemented known as five waste, or Pokayok or Kaijans. These are the different stress-free cultures which basically provide large amount of error from the subfloor. The next one we have recognition by the supervisor. So it is the most expected that is known as employee expectations or expectation level from the top level of management. They must recognize their works, which is dedicated towards the maintenance management. The next one is freedom to share, express his and her opinion through about the works. So the company should be or the organization should provide a that is known as no barrier for sharing information to represent their voice and their opinion, especially reference to work which is dedicated for maintenance management. So these are the two number of expectations. The first we have discussed that is known as expectation of organizations. And here we are already discussed about the expectation of employees. I just reviews that is monetized compensations, job satisfaction, social interaction at workplace, fair and justice, then opportunity for growth, then stress-free work cultures, recognition by the supervisor, and the last one is freedom to share the information as well as freedom to express their various opinions to the different level of management. Moving to next one, the next one we have to understand the concept of role of human resource development. As I told, so human resource development is the blood of organizations. Without human resource, you cannot run the organization, you cannot achieve the organization goals. And the most important part is that the role of human resource development nowadays can seen as the developing workforce in a such a way to match the organization need as well as the need of its workforce. So if you understand the that is known as most important human resource development, if you go for classification, the first go for staffings, the next go for that is known as development, then third one is providing compensations, and the fourth one that is known as higher side of safety and health, and they must establish the better labor relations with the different level of organizations. So most of the cases, if you observe, the main is to machines as weapons, as 3 is to 1 is different in military leadership, administration, and training. So most of the cases, you take the best example of Indian armies. So you can find large amount of leaderships should be there, and huge amount of administration should be there. And during the initial period, they will provide a large amount of trainings to upgrade the human resource in the form of soldiers and paramilitary forces. So the next important part is that if you go to the role of human resource development, the growth applied to the individuals in your organizations means developing his qualities that make him more useful to the organizations. So as far as concerned, most of the behavioral scientists have discovered that the individual growth for self also contribute to the growth of the organization. If you see in case of number of employees, if the number of employees is not assigned by the human resource department, if the human resource department is not providing any trainings, in that cases it should not be achieved the growth of organizations. Similarly, the individual employees growth, especially reference to upgrade of skills, learning new things, then multi-skill, multi-domain, multi-specialization also contribute towards the growth of organizations. So last point for the instance, the expectation of a research scientist would be different. Similarly, the expectation of a worker from coal mines is different. The expectation of machine tool or crane operator would be different than from the account or store clerk. So similarly, in case of the expectation of maintenance technician is also different. So to understand the different expectations of different companies employees, that is why you have to understand the basic features of human resource development. As I told, that we start from the staffing, development, compensations, safety and health, and labor relations should be there. Moving to next one. The next one is aim of maintenance in the core area of the human resource development. So maintenance can have several aims, all of them ultimately converging on delivery of services. So if you go to the core definition of that is known as delivery of service, that should be on timely manners so that the cost effective manners should be achieved. So these are the aim of that is known as maintenance. So this topic we have previously discussed. So if you go to the aim and objective of maintenance, they are basically focus upon that is known as maintain the downtimes, optimize the resource utilization in the form of man, machines, materials, and spare parts, ensuring higher safeties, then extending asset life by providing preventive, corrective, and protective maintenance. And the last one is improve predictabilities so that they can easily eliminate the error from the systems. So to understand the basic core of your maintenance, to maintain a high level of equipment's reliabilities and maintainabilities as the contributor to the production and operation departments. The next is maximize the economy in case of equipment's management for its entire lives. The third one, Or third point we have that is known as to cultivate the equipment's related expertise and skill among maintenance personnel to create vigorous and enthusiastic work environment which provide better maintenance management for the organizations. And the last one is to maximize the overall equipment's effectiveness through the total employees involvement. That means you have to involve all level of employees, especially reference to maintenance management. For example, the problem will arise in production department. So from the top to middle to the bottom level of employees should be involved so that they can understand the importance of maintenance. And the next important part is they will provide fixing the machines and rectify the problem so that the material should be flow from one state to other state and providing higher efficiency of productions, smooth flow of materials, achieving quality goals for the organizations. Moving to next ones. So in case of achieving the aim, need or required for the following activities of maintenance. So let's understand what are the following activities of maintenance. The first one is technical advice at the time of selection of the machines. So there are certain amount of experts panel should be there. So that panel judgment is provided, and depending upon the panel judgment, they will go for selection of machines. So here selection of machine, the cost is also important part. Moving to next one, point number two, assessment of spare parts, store, work areas for the maintenance. The third one is technical planning, control and coordination of maintenance activities, mostly done by the middle level of management along with the functional level of management. Then provide training of maintenance personnel in maintenance technologies, operation of in case of engineering or management. So on the time to time basis, on a regular interval, they will provide various amount of training for the maintenance personnel. Then next point, we have actual maintenance activities comprising of installation of machines, the preventive maintenance, condition monitoring, repair maintenance, shutdowns or overhauls, manufactures, reconditioning of selected spare parts, running own workshop facilities. These are the actual maintenance activities. The next point we have advice operations on correct use of machines to prevent failure. So that is why if you go to an organization, especially reference to manufacturing organizations, they have standard operating procedures. And if you go through the standard operating procedures of maintenance management, so they have strictly mentioned how to use the machines, how to maintain the machines, and how to maintain error-free or prevent failure if you go through the standard operating machine or operation procedures of the maintenance management. The next point we have analysis of maintenance performance. So performance, the next one we have failures, aging effect of components, system in order to review the maintenance, policies and parameters should be in the right place. The next is modification to the plant and machineries to improve yield and outputs. And the last point we have under the forage activities of maintenance, that modification to plant and machinery to improve the reliability and maintainability in case of equipment, tool, as well as the sub-assemblies. So these are the key activities of your maintenance management. Moving to next ones. Next topics, we have human side of maintenance. So as I told in the beginning of these sessions, the human beings should not be considered as evils, especially reference to maintenance personnel. So if it goes to the human or organization aspect, they must be considered mainly due to the maintenance being a service function. So everybody inside the organizations or the internal customer of the organization, they must understand the maintenance management is a service. So if you go for the service concept, service means your experience plus outcomes. So if you not experience the maintenance personnel, how they provide the maintenance, in that cases you not provide the outcomes. So most of the cases it should not be considered as a department, rather than it must consider as a service function. So just like in organizations, sales departments is the most visible, and the sales personnel or executives are most recognized to represent the visibility source of profit. So most of the cases we have observed the sales personnel, the finance departments, the human resource departments are recognized, and they are basically visible the source of profit for the organizations. And most of the cases, we are also taking the operation and production departments in the next place, as it is one of the one that produce the product for the sales. So followed by the sales personnel, the next in operation department is taking the product for the sales. So they are the leading in the second list. Then maintenance is perceived to negative and role as short necessary events. So most cases the maintenance personnel should be that is known as neglected, and most of the cases they have not considered they are considered as evils. So to break this kind of taboos, that is why the concept of human side of maintenance should be introduced, so that the maintenance personnel need recognitions of their contributions towards the production departments. And in terms of that is known as monetary benefit will be given to those who are directly assigned to maintenance management activities. So by treating them as equal partner inside the organizations. So that is why their next expectation is for some priorities for the sources that need for doing the better job. So it is the that is known as responsibility of top level of management, rather than they go recognize the sales departments, the finance departments, the next one that is known as the process departments, the production department. Even nowadays, especially reference to industry 4.0 or industry 5.0, they also go for that is known as recognize the maintenance personals, not recognize that also providing the monetary benefit in the form of incentive as well as bonuses, so that they dedicatedly work for doing the better job for the organizations. So moving to next one. So next topic we have that is known as interdepartmental conflict affecting the human resource developments. So before going to that cases, I will elaborate a small case studies in the state of Odisha, and the case study is go for that, how the irritation level of employees goes to the different level to burn the that is known as DGM of a plant, and that plant name is Graphite India Limited, which is located the Balangir districts. The place is Titlagarh, and the company name is Graphite India Limited Company. So during the year 2006, due to formation of number of labor union, and due to that is not providing the parallel salary, or that is known as the expected salary to daily wages workers. So in the year 2006, during the lunch times, so the person who is seated inside the vehicles, the DGM HR, is directly burned in front of the gate, and no one basically helped to save his life. So this is one kind of incident happens, and how this irritation level goes to the conflict level affecting the human resource development. So the sign day was done to this particular companies for one and that is known as a half a year, and in the year 2008 it was reopened. Clear. So the next, let's understand what are the different theoretical aspect of how the interdepartmental conflict affecting the human resource department. So the most visible conflict between the productions, operation and maintenance is due to the former competing with the latter for getting their share of machines time production for output and maintenance for preventive maintenance. So what happened if you observe in case of any manufacturing organizations? So there may be a rival in between production department and maintenance department. So production department is go for increase the that is known as productions output, and maintenance department increase that is known as preventive maintenance. So due to this increase in production and providing preventive maintenance, the conflict will basically arise. So what are the different activities or that is known as factors should be considered under interdepartmental conflict affecting the HRD? The first is ignorance or incompetency of maintenance in their professional areas. Then maintenance must learn to reduce the repair effort by creative application of machinability principles. And maintenance must first establish as a strong self-concept and identities. And maintenance must learn to live and understand that the role is to support the user of the machines. Within the maintenance function, there has to be teamwork is needed, and problem-solving teams should be formed at the level of operator as well as in case of mechanics. So they should go for this establishment of steering committees by from the both departments, from the maintenance department as well as from the production department. So this case is directly, so if you goes to the worker born alive the steel plant DGM in Odisha in the year 2006, it lead to a different levels, especially if the conflict arise in between the workers, especially reference to maintenance worker and production worker. So production workers are daily wages workers and maintenance are a few amount of employees belong to the business under the company payroll and few are daily wages workers. So due to the formation of the business, the number of labor unions, this irritation level in case of increase in case of wages is bringing this kind of accident, especially reference to Graphite India Limited in the state of Odisha. Moving to next one. The next one is career path and opportunity for maintenance personnels. So in the process industries, generally in all single plant enterprises, maintenance is so close involved with the operators. So that may be many such industries that treat operations and maintenance together. So that is why in shortly it is pronounced as OM. So O stand for operation department and M stand for maintenance department. So let's go for the typical example of electric power generation unit. So engineer freely shift from operation to maintenance and back as the maintenance can rise to chief engineer's positions. So these are the career opportunities. The maintenance personnel can be converted into machine operator and machine operator can be converted into the maintenance personnel. So they can share different amount of skills with each other during the maintenance work. And in case of counterpart of position of chief of productions in the engineering industries, chief of operation in case of service industries. If you take the example of airlines industry as well as railways or Indian Railway is the best example for career path as well as opportunity for maintenance individuals or employees. So moving to next one, there are certain amount of opportunity in the privatized as well as PSU sectors. So you can easily switch from one that is known as core production area to maintenance area as well as maintenance area to production areas to find the opportunity in case of the growth of your careers. Moving to next ones, the incentive for developments. So in case of it is difficult to precisely quantify the contribution of maintenance work towards the increase in productions. So it is very difficult to go for what is the percentage of that is known as contribution of maintenance department to increase the production. Nobody simply provide the actual amount of data and nobody should provide the actual amount of percentage, but they are dedicatedly work or they dedicatedly provide the service to the production department so that the production efficiency is also increase, the quality of product is also increase, and due to quality of product achieved, the sales personnel also maximize the recognized sales, and for maximize the sales, the company is maximize a large amount of economies. So in that cases, for incentive, previously the bonuses, the other form of financial incentive for better performance or maintenance are given out broadly in some proportion to that of the production workers. So previously what happened, many companies will provide the monetary benefit like bonuses or incentive so that better performance of maintenance workers is observed. And in other cases, they are also like for others that is known as service employees, those who are dedicatedly for that is increase the productions, they also get the monetized benefits. So let's understand what are the different employees incentive is given. The first one is monetary incentives. The second one we have non-monetary incentive, and the third one we have that is known as hybrid incentives. So under monetary incentives, the financial rewards provided to the employees, for example, bonuses, then commissions, and cash reward tied to the specific target or given annually. So in case of non-monetary incentive, rewards that are not financial in nature, for example, professional development opportunities, extra time off, flexible work arrangements, work from home options, trips and events. So if you observe in case of Indian Railways, they will provide long travel allowances. So this is one kind of non-monetary benefits. Similarly, if you go to the organization like Netflix, they have that is known as zero leave policies. Throughout the 365 days, you are basically engaged yourself in case of work from home options to provide better content in case of Netflix. The next is third one we have that is known as incentives. So in case of incentive, a combination of monetary and non-monetary reward is given. For example, mix of case bonuses and flexible work hour is given. So these incentive for development provide inadequate motivations for the maintenance personnel for their own developments. So I just repeat, in case of incentive for the development of maintenance employees are of three types. The first one is monetary incentive. The second one we have that is known as non-monetary incentive. The third one we have that is known as hybrid incentive. So these are the different incentive is given to the development of human resource management. The next one is stress in maintenance, one of the major issue in the current scenarios. So due to the work environments, due to the different level of management, due to the expectation of organizations, due to the higher set of expectation of employees, especially reference to human resource development, nowadays they will conduct to reduce the percentage of stress in case of maintenance personnel, those who are directly assigned to provide better maintenance management service to production departments. So if you goes to the first point, the pressure of work anywhere can cause stress. However, if the person is confident about the success, the stress stay within his or her limits does not cause the distress. So production workers' tasks are well defined without uncertainties. But in case of maintenance technician faces uncertainty most of the times. So almost every repair maintenance job is different. For example, fixing the motor is different. Providing the breakdown maintenance for a gearbox is different to provide the known as corrective maintenance for a belt drive is different. So depending upon the different job, different stresses directly goes to the maintenance personals. So it is not happen in case of production workers. Clear? So whenever they provide the or reduce the down times and they will access the different machine and equipment to the maintenance job, then their stress will be arise. So this causes the following unproductive behavior on and her parts. So the first one is that is known as avoidance. So no initiation taken to locate the root cause of malfunctions. So he tends to repair only the point out by the user of the machines. So most of the cases when the production department is called number of time, the maintenance personnel are making avoid of these calls in case of maintenance management. So due to these things, so under pressure of time, he or she does not attempt to identify the lockings inception problem that may grow if unattended. So this is one kind of thing which is observed in many industries, so especially reference to maintenance personnel. If you go for a small fixing of nut and bolts, they directly or indirectly avoid, and in that cases, higher side of locking impatience problem will be arise. The next one is non-accommodations. So ignoring the user's request to give priority to specific repair tasks. So non-accommodations, that means they don't provide any kind of seating arrangement for fixing the machines. They do not provide any space to go for specific repair tasks, or they are simply ignoring the users to give the priorities. So these are also happen in case of in between production worker as well as maintenance workers. Then exploitations, the when user extremely concerned about the quickly getting failed machine into operations, and maintenance may deliberately take it easy to show their importance or even demand some. So these are the stress to go for unproductive behavior in a stressful organization, repeat avoidance, non-accommodation, and exploitations. Moving to next one. The next one we have training maintenance technologies. So if you go for why training is needed to upgrade the skill of workers, starting from unskilled to skill, sorry, unskilled to semi-skilled, semi-skilled to skilled, and skilled to highly skilled. So that is why training is most important aspect. And the next is due to change in the rapid technology, especially reference to maintenance machines, maintenance equipments, maintenance tools, spare parts. It is the duty of that is known as maintenance department to provide adequate training to their maintenance personnel. So, so that they can handle large variety of machines, large specialized machines. And the next important part is they will provide the unique features along with the maintenance technologies. So if you goes to point number one, the maintenance technician handle a variety of machines. Although he may specialize in few areas, he still has to have ability to handle at least some other machines. So here multi-skill domain should be required for maintenance technologies. That is where training is most important part or parameter to upgrade the different skill of workers so that the skill should be converted into multi-skills. Moving to third point. Third point is while some general practice in case of maintenance are applicable to most machines, the designers or the manufacturers of the machine best know the unique features of each. So whenever you go for general practices in case of maintenance, it is applicable to the most machine. How to applicable? Let's understand the concept of this training pyramids. The first we have skill reassessment should be done. The learning management metrics should be done. Then training coordination and facilitation should be done. So these are the topmost priority in case of providing the training in case of maintenance technology. So what are the things should be observed under the pyramid? The first one is training vendor qualifications. Then on-site training library should be established. So if possible, must go for LMS systems and training schedule tools. Then scoring and gap analysis or maybe learning development mapping should be done. Then employee skill analysis should be done. So if you goes to that is known as most of the premium level manufacturers, they must go for that is known as conducting number of evaluation techniques in case of employee skill analysis. Then next we have job task analysis, and the last one is the department must go for training need assessments. So in this way, you can easily go for upgrade the skill to the skill reassessment techniques. Moving to next one, training in the maintenance engineers. So maintenance engineer belong to the middle level of management. So maintenance technology training referred to above is useful only start of the maintenance engineer or technician for handling the problem that supplier, client, and frequently repeated to the farmers. So if you observe the that is known as a different level of organization, especially reference to bottom level of organizations as well as uh, organization or management, or in case of middle level of management, or in case of top level of management. So here we are talking about the middle level of management, especially reference to the maintenance engineers. Whenever they understand the importance of that is known as maintenance, how to handle the problems, how to deal with the supplier clients, how to go for frequent reporting to the higher authorities. These are basically need the specific trainings. So if you go for typical maintenance engineer training program, that should cover two following topics. So what are the topics we have? First one is maintainability design features. So whenever they go for maintenance activities inside their organizations, they must understand the design features of different machines, design feature specification of different machines, tools, spare parts. And the next important part is they go for what is known as diagnostics and fault location. That means they make a fault tree analysis and symptoms and fault corrections. So being a new engineers in the form of the technology graduate engineer trainings, most of the organizations providing the standard operating procedures for maintenance. And if the engineer is must go through this particular that is known as SOPs, they can understand the importance of identify a different amount of analysis, fault detections, error elimination techniques of the standard operating manuals, which is predefined by the maintenance management departments. So next important part is basic theory or reliabilities or maintainabilities. They must understand the basic theory of reliabilities and maintainability of different machine and equipments. The next fourth point we have variables and other statistical analysis for assessing the component and machine lives. So they must conduct that is known as statistical analysis, means demand forecasting, time series analysis, that is known as conducting various amount of statistical data collected from the machines to go for regression analysis to identify or for assessing the different component as well as to improve the machine life. The next point we have developing new pair techniques, tool and process. So it is the duty of maintenance management department. They will provide large number of trainings on different interval to the maintenance engineers so that they can understand the new repair techniques. They can use how to use the new tools and how to that is known as observe the process in case of different organizations. The next is new material repair, which also include in case of maintenance engineering training program. And the last one is spare parts forecasting essentials. It's combining statistical and engineering tasks. So if you go for forecasting techniques, there are number of forecasting techniques are there. So most of the cases, maintenance engineer go for the known as quantitative forecasting technique. Under the quantitative forecasting techniques, they have simple moving average calculations. The next is weighted moving average calculations, or they may must go for that is known as exponential smoothing methods to go for higher amount of spare part forecastings. Moving to next one. The next one is maintenance management or training in the maintenance management. So, what are the different topic to be covered under the training in case of maintenance management? The first we have accessing the manpower for maintenance tasks. So, whenever you go to the top level of management, they have a robust organization structures, and under robust organization structures, they have number of maintenance technicians. Then next, the next up level, they have number of maintenance supervisors, and just above the maintenance supervisor, they have assigned them as maintenance engineers. So maintenance engineer just above, they have assigned the known as maintenance managers should be assigned. So their duty and job responsibility basically involve for installation of machines, providing preventive maintenance, regular inspections, on schedule or planned repair maintenance, and if required, they must go for modification of machines and equipments. Moving to next one, well, point number two is basically focus upon scheduling the above tasks which available manpowers and other resources. Point number three, obtaining the best result from own maintenance workforce through the good leadership, establishment of better human relationship, then go for building that is known as or team buildings, training program should be there, and they go for higher motivation of that is known as maintenance technicians so that they are dedicatedly work for the common objective of maintenance management. So moving to next one, the next point we have forecasting the requirement and time for maintenance tools, accessories, and spare parts. So that is why nowadays the maintenance management is vast. They use various amount of softwares, so that even a various amount of statistical tools to go for higher side of forecasting requirement in case of maintenance tools, accessory, and spare parts. Moving to next one, using computer for the above, both for the day-to-day works as well as for the long-term plannings. So using computer skills must be learned by the maintenance management. How to go for execution of or implementation of various kind of software, especially reference to condition-based monitorings for maintenance management, or to implement correct maintenance management, or to implement that is known as preventive maintenance management inside the organizations. So in these cases, they will go for day-to-day work planning as well as long-term planning for the maintenance management work. The next we have organization own workshop facilities. So whenever we go for maintenance management, especially refers to tool, accessories, spare parts, if any kind of modification is required, in that cases, the maintenance department have their own workshop facilities so that they can easily modify or they will go for repair works inside their own workshop facilities. The next we have that is known as selecting the organization maintenance work that is to be outsourced or maybe contract. Nowadays, most of the organizations are go for that is known as subcontract of that is known as machines as well as even in case of workforce, so that the selection and organizing the maintenance work would be very simple and very easy to provide large variety of that is known as skills to the maintenance management. Last point we have that is known as operating company policies and procedure that are applicable to all employees. So whenever you implementing a policies, especially reference to the top level of management to middle level of management to that is known as bottom level of management, the procedure are applicable to all employees who are involved in the maintenance management. So these are the training in case of maintenance management. I just repeat, accessing the manpower for maintenance tasks, then schedule the above tasks, obtaining the best measures by implementation of good leadership, human resource, team building, and motivations. Then for forecasting the requirement of the tool, accessory, and spare parts, using computers knowledge in case of long-term plannings, organizing their own workshop facilities, then selecting and organizing maintenance work, And finally, last one, that is operating company policy and procedures. Moving to next one. The next one is developing the creativity in maintenance. So if you go to the fundamental concept of creativity, that means explorations of ideas, and creativity bring large amount of innovations. It also provides that is known as inputs like divergent thinkings, and it also included in original and flexible thoughts. So by combination of exploration of idea, divergent thinkings, innovation, original and flexible thought, the creativity is basically formed. So the creativity, if you go for human beings, that is ability to differently or ability to think differently. So it is applicable to maintenance department as well as maintenance individuals who meet with different problem which is arise in case of unpredictable cases, especially reference to breakdowns. So since the maintenance man meet with different problem all the time, each creativity is frequently challenged. So fixing a motor is different challenge, fixing a gearbox is a different challenge, and fixing a number of gearbox is a different challenge. So for them, large amount of creativity is needed, and it's a frequent challenging task for the maintenance individuals. So to stimulate the creativity, senior management personnel should give the challenging task to their juniors and allow them to handle maintenance problem of their own as much as possible. So this is also a development and develop the confidence among the maintenance personnel if the top level management don't have any barriers. So they go for higher set of creative thinkings, and this creative thinking will solve many problems in a simple manner. So point number three, publication of problem solved creativity or creatively by maintenance personnel in the in-house journal is also a strong stimulator. So incidentally, the creativity thinking activity enables the person to better cope with the stress. So whenever you go for the developing creativity maintenance, so in that cases, the top level management role is most important part because they will provide the opportunity to the middle level of management as well as the bottom level of management so that they can handle the entire thing independently or that is known as a free forms so that the confidence level will increase, and in that cases they can easily fix any kind of frequent challenges arise in the production department. Moving to next one. The next one is developing the maintenance leaders. So leadership is most important aspect of your maintenance management. So superior to head the entire maintenance departments, good leadership is most important part. So leadership is seen as a both process, as a priorities, as a process is used non-coercive influence to direct and coordinate the activities of group members towards the goal accomplished. So as a properties, the leadership is set of the characteristics which attributes to those who are perceived to use the influence successfully. So under the good leadership, the maintenance personnel are motivated and they are committed towards the maintenance job, whatever job is given by the superior authorities. And it is the duty of the good leadership, they can communicate the different level of management so that they can understand their responsibility towards the organizations. So the situation in maintenance range from the relatively peaceful, proactive plan, work to highly reactive repair works, emergency works like accidents, and the maintenance leader must be developed to handle both type of situations. So if a leader of a maintenance group is attribute the subordinate poor performance to lower effort or lack of abilities, its response might include a repayment and training and even dismissals. So due to the poor leaderships, the maintenance personnel may be dismissed from the organizations, from the departments, and to operate the skill, you have to go for large amount of trainings under the leaderships. So these are the basic that is known as concept under the development of maintenance leaders. Moving to next one. The next one is most of the maintenance personnel that is known as motivate through the counseling. So how counseling will be helped if you go to the every employee has some personal traits or domestic problems. So that affect the works. So it is the organization responsibilities. So they would provide better job satisfaction so that the maintenance employee is balancing his work life as well as individual lives. So his ability, if he goes to the point number one, every employee has some personal trait or domestic problem that affect each one, and his ability to get along with the others and to lead or to follow the orders. So organization must have some counseling arrangement for the people who appear to be constantly under the stress or unable to perform as expected. So it is the duty of middle level of management as well as especially reference to maintenance manager as well as the top level of management, especially reference to the general manager of maintenance. They are providing various amount of counseling program in case of individual level as well as in case of group levels, so that the stress will be reduced and the maintenance individuals is dedicatedly work whatever task is given to that particular maintenance personnel. So a qualified manager in the personnel or HR department will familiar with the company policies in related to the area based perform in the task. So most of the cases, the personnel department and the human resource departments are very familiar with the maintenance personnel. They will go for the individual counseling as well as group counseling, so that if a employee is under stress or unable to perform as expected, in that cases his skill will be increased. He can easily motivate or to lead towards the other followers. Moving to next one. The next one is institutional training or sorry and in-house trainings. So why this institutional training and in-house training is most important part? So if you go to point number one, training in maintenance technologies related to the specific machines is best received from the suppliers. So this is usually parts of the machine supply contract. Full use of this must be made. Subsequently, own experienced technicians could train new individuals. So, for example, a supplier send a machine, and this machine is first time installed inside the organization. Those who have training, especially reference to supervisor levels, or that is in case of that known as senior technician level, they can provide the training to the new individual so that they can easily understand the specific machine which is assigned for a that is known as specific job. So professional bodies such as Indian Institute of Plant Engineers, organization having their own staff colleges, various management training institutions, and conduct short-term and long-term courses in training on the maintenance management and for spare parts management. So these are the example of a professional body how they provide that basic in-house training and institutional level training to their staff as well as other college in the form of that one is short-term training program or maybe long-term training program for the core area or on the topic like maintenance management and spare parts management. So in case of training in maintenance engineering is the ability available to two level for standard workshop practice and technical training institutes or the appendix sites training conducted by the large organizations such as Indian armies as well as railway for their own personnel. So if you take the cases of Indian armies, they train their own personnel. They never outsource any other personnel to train their soldiers. Similarly, Indian Railway have their that is known as in-house trainings department. They will provide various technical training to upgrade the skill of workers. So these are the cases of how these industries have grown in last 2 decades, especially reference to maintenance management. And the next is in an institutional level as well as in-house training is most important for the organizations so that they can reduce the cost of training and their company personnel is also training the newly joined individuals so that they can understand the importance of specific machine and specific tasks. Moving to next one, the next one is self-trainings. So self-training is most important for all professionals. As I told that in the core area of human resource development, uh, one of the things that if you not provide the training, they must search for the fittest for the survival. But the thing is that nowadays the concept is already changed. So self-training is most important aspect because if you learn your own, in that cases you can help others. So if you observe in case of, for example, various amount of healthcare organizations like hospitals, all the doctors, other related professional meet for afternoons and every month, often to exchange their note in a clinics or new or unusual cases treatments are discussed so that Those who are newly joined in the hospital, they can understand the importance of that digit and which kind of machines as well as diagnostic machine is used. Even the paramedical staff are also learn various aspects of treatment, especially from the senior doctors. The next one we have that is known as advance in the professional elsewhere are brought to the notice of the participant. If doctor can find time to go for clinic regularly, surely maintenance can do it too. So if in case of hospital it is possible, similarly in case of maintenance it is also possible, so that those who are highly experienced from their experience levels, in case of specific machines, specific equipment, specific tool, they can easily understand or they can provide the training to other individuals in the same departments. So, for example, in case of coal industry, the participants are machine users, maintenance users, and technicians. Similarly, in case of service engineers of machinery supplier, offer additional technical input from their side to get the first-hand perception of the maintenance engineering regarding the fault proneness and the maintenance abilities of the machines. So similarly, if you go for the workshop training, it's probably one of the best form of in-house training and maintenance personnel. So these are the things should be observed in case of self-training operations. If you take the cases of coal industries or if you take the cases of hospital or super specialized hospitals, so self-training is most important aspect. Moving to next one. The next one is introducing the HRD for maintenance. So how introducing the HRD or human resource development for maintenance? The first point we have identify the short-term and long-term goal for maintenance, typically reducing the downtime of a selected machines to lower levels, reducing the cost of spare parts and increase the part rebuildings. Next point, we have each goals undertake a series of brainstorming sessions with related to persons at mixed levels, level on the deterrents that come in the way of achieving the goals, and prioritizing these, select a few key different and carry out the further brainstorm to identify whether the redundant exists. So these are the things should be observed in this skill. The five main classes are there. The first one is knowledge. Then next one we have skills. The third one we have attitudes. The fourth one we have workload, and the last one we have different organizations. So whenever you go for solving the different aspect of maintenance, the human resource development must understand how to solve step by step, and they must understand involve personnel at all levels, such as developing excellence through the various type of training, leadership, stress management, team building. So if you go to the last, HRD is a non-stop process. In that process, it is a continuous improvement process so that every individuals from the different level of management, whether they belong to top level of management, whether they belong to middle level of management, or whether they belong to the bottom level of management, they must understand the different aspect of maintenance management, especially refers to the process, the strategies. The next important part is the classification of or the types of maintenance management inside the organization. So these are the point for the HRD for senior most maintenance manager or engineer that must discuss with their colleagues as well as subordinate to go for introducing the human resource development for the maintenance management. So moving to next one. So just review from the first one that okay, thank you.